Retired NASA flight director Gene Kranz writes in his book that the 3 Apollo 13 astronauts were beyond his physical reach, but they were never past the limits of human imagination and inventiveness. It was the determination of Kranz and his team that saved the astronauts' lives almost 40 years ago when an explosion in space touched off a catastrophic chain of events.
And then Jim Lovell calls down from the spacecraft, "Hey, Houston, we've got a problem." Those were the words that started the crisis, the saga, and the incredible rescue of the Apollo 13 crew.
Kranz was NASA's Mission Control Flight Director during the Gemini and Apollo programs. He credits the space program's success to leadership, discipline, and above all, teamwork.
And it says the flight director may take any action necessary for crew safety and mission success. It's a story that's where the buck stops in mission control. There's no higher authority. Even the President of the United States could not override the flight director's decisions.
Kranz says part of his determination to save the crew of Apollo 13 stems from the 1967 Apollo 1 tragedy that killed astronauts Grissom, Chaffee, and White.
It was probably the worst time of all of our lives because we were there and we heard them die. We heard their final screams, and then there was silence. And when we came away from that day, there was anger at ourselves because we knew we had failed in our responsibility to the mission and the crew.
Kranz says he simply refused to let the Apollo 13 crew go, even in the face of certain disaster. He wrote the book Failure is Not an Option about his experience in the mission control room to share a philosophy that achieves results in all walks of life.
Bottom line is that this very young team performed in an incredible fashion against all odds to bring the crew of Apollo 13 home. We used the motto, failure is not an option. It's the theme that we used within our team, within every one of our debriefings, virtually everything we did.
Kranz was portrayed by Oklahoma-born actor Ed Harris in the movie Apollo 13. He retired from NASA in 1994, but these days he travels the country urging Americans to continue investing in space exploration. In Oklahoma City, Lori Rasmussen, The Oklahoma News Report.